Actually, you're right, it comes down to them, but we don't need to identify them up front. So, we do well with a 98% error rate. As long as we have Pony with 30 other yo-yos in the portfolio, we're okay. And we don't know which of the 30 is Pony Ma, but over time we will know that. So I think it would be, the funny thing is, like, I was in Turkey a few weeks ago, and I've now owned Reysas for 4 years. And something that always puzzled me was they repeatedly enter kind of brand new businesses in which they have no competence. And in a few years, they're number one in the country in that business. So they from a standing start, they go into these areas where they have no expertise. And and I couldn't understand. I said, is everyone else idiots? Like, what's going on here, And I realized, this is the first time when I met the guy, I realized that he's the Energizer Bunny. So he probably gets like 72 hours of work done in 24 hours. And I never saw that trait in the last several meetings and interactions. I mean, I could see it in the numbers that they hardly ever failed, and they were able to enter these things, and they were able to do all that. But I could never really, and what I realized is that Warren has made the same statement about Greg Abel. Recently I think he was talking, and he said, I just see what gets done in a day with Greg, and it would take me like, 3 or 4 days to do those things. So the thing is that my perspective is that I don't think we can tell in advance. I mean, I think very few of us would have the gifts to look at somebody. But I think what you can tell easily is after the fact. And so obviously when we are going into a business, when we're investing in a business, we have to look at the historic trend marks. And we can look at the numbers, we can look at return on invested capital, we can look at a few metrics which would point us to businesses that are likely to be great businesses. I think after that, separating the wheat from the chaff will happen automatically as we only get to know a business after it drops about 40% in our portfolio. That's when you really get to know the business. And so the same thing with the companies we invest in. I think we may have an idea about these businesses, but we really will get to know them far, far better after we've owned them for a few years. So I would say that basically, as much as we might like to try to have a portfolio filled. Now think about a portfolio with Walmart and Amazon and Costco and Tencent all together. Never happened. That might be superhuman capability. We haven't seen that happen with any investor so far. And we've even seen with Warren and Charlie, with incredible temperaments and incredible brain power and really good at the art, still a lot of errors. So I think the best way to answer that is to accept that we'll make the errors, but to really study what we've got. And I can point to many investments I made in the past where the buy decision was exceptional and the sell decision was horrible. And it's happened so many times, and I know it'll keep happening. So I'm trying to, make amends.
Monish Pabrai emphasizes that a portfolio does not need numerous successful stocks. It only takes one exceptional stock to create significant wealth. He believes in concentrating investments in a few high conviction ideas rather than diversifying excessively. This approach allows investors to benefit substantially when one of their picks perform extraordinarily well. By focusing on quality over quantity, Pabrai aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. He also advocates for giving your stocks ample time to perform well, as he believes in power of patience and long-term investing. He believes that quality investments often need time to realize their full potential, so rushing to sell can hinder significant gains.
Like Charlie says, why should it be easy to get rich? But these are difficult. I mean, I agree with you. I think that separating the signal from the noise is not easy. But I would say that you should err on the side of patience. So businesses are going to go through cyclicalities. They're going to go through ups and downs. Some things will work, some things won't work. And so you need enough time to be able to tell that. And yeah, so the risk is we will not be able to sell optimally, but the risk is even greater if you're too trigger happy.